Like, child, let me start by saying Jesus so the haters don't think that I'm bluffing. I've been surrounded with temptation like I'm David Ruffin. I was babysitting sins, like a baby cousin. Started living lukewarm and I couldn't elevate for nothing. But now I'm hot, so I keep rising. It's like baking muffins. I don't get no break. I'm too consistent. Ain't no taking lunches. I spit that God flow. Let them know the Savior coming. All the ones that counted me out. It's him right here, bro. That's because I came a long way since I had started.
It's so real. You hear me?
Barbershop. He laid down the path like DJ Punk. I gotta walk it out. Don't ask about my past because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm too forgiving. Ain't got time to think of. Don't ask about my past. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm too forgiving. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yes,
Good evening,
sir.
everybody. Welcome to Elevate and Illuminate the Empowerment Podcast. This is the season launch for season 2, episode
Yes,
1.
sir.
I thank y'all for joining us this evening. I'm Jamarcus Fields, founder and executive director of Iron Sharpens Iron, WAST. That is WAST, for We Are Stronger Together. And this season of Elevate and Illuminate, we will highlight all of the Iron Men of Iron Sharpens Iron, as well as we got some prolific, amazing brothers and sisters that I'm going to have on that have agreed to be transparent, share their stories, their testimonies, in hopes of sharpening some iron so that they went through it so the next person ain't got to go through it. And that's what it's all about here at Iron Sharpens Iron. So without any further delay, we're going to go on and get into it. I'm going to allow my guest to introduce himself to y'all, and then we're going to get this conversation popping.
Hey, you know what's funny, bro? I just had a reflection in my mind. I can remember days when, in the past. Yeah, I'm in a. Thank you. But I can remember in the past, man, where we would introduce ourselves, man, and we were still in that life, and the first thing I say, "Brat, it's me," or something all goofy, right? But I thank you, man, for allowing me to sit with you, man, on this platform, man. But my name is Darvous Clay, for those who don't know, formerly known as Loke, you know. And this is truly an honor for me, man, just to be able to share with the world, man, and just my brothers, we know each other's stories, so but we figure it's time for y'all to know, man, and to be enlightened, man, and to be encouraged, more importantly, man, and just show y'all that, man, God is real. You hear me? And I know you probably hear it a lot. People be like, they got all these colloquialisms that they use to try to draw you into the word, but you're looking at living proof right here between the two of us, man. So, I'm just grateful for this, man, and let's get it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, so I want to dive right in. I want to hit you with a question off the dribble, man. Um,
Yes, sir.
Again, let me start by just everybody that been tapped in, man. Appreciate y'all being here. Good evening. And let's get ready to build, man. We finna get ready to have a real powerful conversation. I like to make this as interactive as possible. So the chat room is open. If you have any questions, any comments you want to add to the conversation, put it in there, and we definitely gonna bring it to the table. Like we don't duck no topics, we don't duck no conversation. You know what I mean? We being led by God, and we gonna dig right into it. So
That's right.
I want to ask you, Darvis, for anybody out there, justice involved or not, that's struggling with the,
On the
just
podcast,
with life,
I'm gonna be
period,
talking.
that's struggling just with life, period, or it could be somebody that did time and came back out here, and they the math ain't math on they plan, and they in a
Mm.
state of being discouraged, on the verge of wanting to give up. Like, I want you to look into the camera, and I want you to talk to that individual or that troubled youth that may be struggling right now on why they need to stay in the fight.
Man, bruh, that's one of the most. I think that's the most critical question and the most unasked question that most people, we got a lot of guys, man, that got this sense of bravado, man, this masculinity thing, and they don't want to ask that question to themselves and let alone reveal it and be vulnerable about it. And I think the only way that they'll be able to get past that that sense of discouragement, that lack of belief, and that overwhelming sense of doubt that they have, is they got to ask themselves first, what am I not doing? And what can I do in order to be able to change my perception of how I view things? Because when it's all said and done, it's just like poverty. It's a mindset. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of people, man, I think they like to get caught up in this cycle, this way of thinking, as if, if it don't go the way I want it to go, it's not working out, and not even understanding that, when you a man of God and you walking with God, the plan is already worked out. But
No doubt.
it's that lower part of the process, that valley part, that gets us discouraged, man. It causes us to kind of, have a sense of fear, man, and a lack of better judgment, and being able to say, okay, you know what, I need this, because a lot of times I think, man, we we tend to we tend to move away from what a detour is used for, So if we don't
Mhm.
see ourselves getting to this road on the path that we see, whatever the GPS say or whatever, I know how to get there. But now I'm on a GPS system, which is God's positioning system for me. So now when he say turn right, and I'm used to turning left, and I'm like, hold on, now I'm questioning God as if he don't already know how to get there. And those detours are set up, man, for us to be able to go around some obstacles sometimes, some trouble, some dangers, unforeseen dangers. So I encourage the brothers, man, that if you feel like things ain't adding up, set up another problem. Set up another problem, because they're gonna come, man. 2 plus 2 gonna always equal 4. So and step out of the most complicated part of your situation and get back to the simple things, as in, where's my heart at and what I'm trying to do? Where's my mind at? And make sure that they in tune with each other. Because when they in tune, then your body could walk and be in sync with the harmony and the rhythm that God has placed for your life, man. But when this ain't here with this and everything, I'm running wild, my heart is in it, but my head telling me something different, man. It's gonna cause me to be distracted on my walk, man. So I encourage them brothers, man. If you find yourself where you feel like, man, I can't get no job, or excuse me, my relationship ain't going like what I thought, step back for a minute, man. Just step back, brace yourself, and know that it's already been worked out, man. And every trial and every test and every tribulation that you encounter will set up to take something away from you, but also add something to you that God want to put in you. Because a lot of times,
Absolutely.
man, what I got on my agenda ain't what he got on his agenda. And I'm learning that every day. So, and even though we are in the positions that we in, and we walking it out, it ain't easy. You know what I mean? So the enemy, he only gonna attack you in the areas where you feel you weak at. Keep that in mind. Wherever we feel we weak, that's where he gonna attack at. If I say something different, the enemy gotta evade them areas. He can't be there. So I encourage the brothers, man, to speak something different to yourself, man. Talk a different language to yourself, a language of victory instead of defeat. That's what I got for
Absolutely, absolutely.
him.
Um,
Excuse
so speaking of detours, um, we both took detours early in our life. Um, some extensive, challenging, um, trying detours. Now,
Right.
I know in the midst of my detour, like, I know as a youngster, I was real hard headed. So, in hindsight, I understand why I had to get hit as hard as I did in order to find my way back to the right path off of that detour. You know what I
Right.
mean? And mine happened sitting on lockup. Found myself in a prison inside of a prison.
Excuse
But ironically, the most peaceful I have ever been in my life was in the midst of that storm.
Man,
Was in the
brother.
midst of that storm, man. And when I
Ooh,
look at
wee.
that, like it showed me and it amplified the impact and the power of God in my life, that I can be in the worst environment ever and be
Mm,
the most peaceful that I have ever been in my life. So I did time with you. So
yeah.
I know like the conversation that Jamarcus and Darvis is having today ain't the same type of conversations that Blue and Loke was having.
Absolutely.
How did you? What was your moment? Like, how did you find your way back on your path? Like, what was your moment that put you in that system of transition?
Man, listen, man, you don't even know, man. You got chill bumps on my hairline where it used to be. You hear,
I I,
man,
I
my
can
eyebrows,
imagine.
man, and it's not ironic, man, and it's not an act of what no what it is. This is I'm gonna say what it is. When you said, man, that's heavy, man. That's all I could think about, man. Is the conversations that we used to have, and the transition, man. It was so critical, man, because that storm, right? A lot of people don't even understand, man, that when you're in that storm, in the middle of it is the safest place in the eye of it. But we've been so systematically programmed to believe that when we in a storm, try to get out of it, try to run from it. But the very thing that we trying to run from is what God used to bring us to this point, man. And a storm is always meant to press you forward. You know, if it move you this way, that's cool because it's moving you out of the way of something else and it's taking you to where you need to be. And for myself, man, my story is somewhat similar, man. I found myself on a lockup unit, man, after assaulting a guy, man. Here I am, man. I done been in the joint, what, since then. This was 2014. No, yeah, 2014, October 19th. So I had already been in the joint for 12 years, you know what I mean? And and I was radical, man, but I was only radical because of I was scared of myself. I was scared to reveal who I am to me. So I was hiding behind Loke. You know what I mean? I chose to be Loke so I didn't have to look at me, and I could stay away from everything, right? And I hate for the people that got hurt along the way, but I'm forever grateful that I did experience what I did because in the act of committing the act of violence was committed against me. And it came in a form of a chastisement and a discipline from God, man. He said, "Look, I still got you, man." And I was at my wit's end, bro. I gave up. I clearly told God, I said, "Listen, after I assaulted the dude, I go to lockup, and I clearly told God, I said, if you don't do nothing for me, if you can't change my heart, this is it. I don't walk out of this cell." And I had made up my mind, man. And and I think back too, man, I got a lot of things that I think back to that play in my head, man. I remember this old school told me long time ago, man, when I was at IYC, man. He was like, he said, man, y'all running around here, y'all terrorizing the dorm, y'all doing this, doing that, got the police chasing everybody. It's hot. He said, y'all ain't no real killers. You ain't no killer if you won't kill yourself. And I thought about it. And at that time, it didn't make sense to me. But when I made the transition to walk with God and to give God my life and deny self, I get what he was saying. He wasn't saying in the actual physical sense of taking myself away from this earth. He was saying that I need to deny my flesh. I need to remove myself. I need to be willing. That's what a real man do. He denied what he's come up against and deny the flesh that has control of him and allows his spirit man to start to be fed so he can grow and now I can pursue a path with purpose, right? So that saved me, man, going to lock up that last time. That wasn't my last time. I went again after that, just be clear, right? Because I didn't have it all together yet. And I still don't. And I'm grateful for that, because I know God ain't through with me yet. So, but yeah, it was rough, man. It was a transition and a conversation that I had to have with myself because I was tired. And I had to find something that was greater than me. And at that point, living as low was nothing greater than me. Had to be God. That was the only thing that could happen. So, I didn't really fall to my knees like a lot of people say they did. I just stood up against the wall, chest out, and I told God, I said, if you change my heart, I'm gonna rock out with you. And I'm gonna do it way better than I did with the mob. I'm gonna ride with you. So, I felt something, man, take over me, man, that felt like, man, like a cleansing took place in that moment, right? So
Right.
that's when it started, man. And I was on lockup. I was really facing the outside case, which would have been another 50 years on top of my sentence, no matter how long in lockup. Because if I wasn't with God, I was going to add to my lockup sentence. I always do that. When I walk in the
Right.
flesh, I'm never thinking about actually coming home, even though I convince people to believe that I'm doing everything I need to be doing to get home. Oh, I'm gonna make a little money so I can get a lawyer. Man, I don't really care if I make no money to get a lawyer or not. I just need something to smoke, something to drink, something to eat, and something to keep me like this and not have to visualize or have a visual of everything that's going on around me. So, I think, excuse me, that going to lock up, man, that saved my life, man. And not only mine, it saved a lot of other people's lives as well, because now we get a chance to share our testimonies, man, and draw others in that can relate. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, sir. Um, again, for those that may have just tapped in, the chat room is open. So any questions you have, any comments you want to add to the conversation, please come on with it. I noticed Misty in the chat, like put emphasis on you saying where God wanted and needed us to be to think clearly. And
Yeah,
I'm highlighting her comment because as I listen to you talk, you've used the word think 4 times, right?
right.
And I know for me, I'm like, I often tell the guys, like when we go to the re-entry and the guys that's getting ready to come home in an effort to bring emphasis on the point of their re-entry they in, I'm like, take advantage of this time that you got
Right. Yeah.
because this is like the last opportunity they gonna get to live life at that pace.
Man,
Because like some of us had to go sit down so
man,
life could slow down for us. Life was moving so fast that we was just crashing and burning everywhere we went. Like we thought we had everything all together, we game related, we on top of this, we bossed up, but like we was lost and out of control and had to
man,
go sit down so that we had time to think and
man,
see what we was doing and understand that, all we doing is crashing into walls, man.
man. And you
So
know what's
here,
so powerful, bro? And when you said we had to sit down, I'm grateful that he didn't lay me down, right? Because
facts.
I took every opportunity to allow my body to be physically sacrificed for eternal, for an eternal commitment. Everything I done was to really leave this earth. And man, that's heavy, man. That's heavy, bro. That's heavy. You stuck me with that one. Go ahead, finish this statement, man.
that
I'm tripping,
that part. So okay, so we went on our detours
man.
and thankfully we surrendered. We allowed God into our life, and allowed Him to be our author and our director.
Yeah,
So, how was your transition coming back out into this world? Because we both did some extensive stints on lockup, and like while you're on lockup, you got all these thoughts and ideas, and you done made all these transformations. But you know how it is. The real test
right,
comes when you get back out in the population from lockup. So like
man.
now we
That's
gonna
heavy,
amplify it. I'm not even gonna ask you about the transition from lockup back to population. I'm gonna ask you about your transition in walking the way that you walk and bringing the new you out here into this world. How was your transition back into society?
man. You know what? I'm gonna touch on both of them real quick, right? And cause see, for me, my transition started in 2014 when I gave my life to God. Now, mind you, not I never came home until October 20. I mean, excuse me, to Valentine's Day of 2022, right? So that's 8 years later. So I had to walk for 8 years inside the same place where I wreaked havoc at, in
Right.
the darkest place, in the belly of the beast, right? So I told myself when I was in lockup, I was getting ready to get released, and I said, "Look, God, I don't believe in running. I mean, I will if it makes sense. Let's just don't be no fool. But when it comes time to get down and put in work, I'm on that. So if you don't help me, I'm doomed. So I'm gonna give them the cheat code as well. Anybody that's in that space right now outside of here, surrender. When I made the choice to fully surrender, because see, I still held on to a gang mentality. I still held on to my gang ties, and I still held on to some hitters that have put in work for me about me if need be. So when I found myself coming out of lockup, I told God, I said, look, I don't want to have to use none of these things of the flesh to help glorify you and what you've done for me. I want it all to be about you so everybody will see and know that it couldn't have been him. He ain't that tough, you know. So when I stepped out, man, and I seen a lot of the guys, man, I was sitting on the steps and some youngsters, they was like, OG, and they looked, they said, Low. And I hadn't shaved in a year. The roof was missing. My beard, all this was connected. And I had locked my hair up, right? So I looked like a political prisoner. And I lost so much weight. I was 185. So these guys is looking, they like, Low, Low. I'm like, what's up? Where you going? I'm going over here. So when I get over to the deck, I know what's gonna happen, right? They already know I'm coming. They know you coming before you get out. You know, this is the system. So when I when I got in the dorm, right, and I stepped in the cell with one of the Muslim brothers, Morris Science, right? My brother, shout out to Morris Bay, man. I love Morris Bay. He's from the fort too, right? But
Yeah.
you know, and he had to step out the room, man, and the guys pulled up, and I was like, oh man, here it go. You know, my heart like this, but they can't see it, you know, because I'm not gonna allow them to see that, you know. And the guys was like, man, look, we proud of you, man. And we love what you're doing, man. We heard what you got going on and brought some food in there and some clothes and stuff. I'm like, man, I don't need none of that because I didn't want to accept it because I wanted to make sure that everybody know that everything in my life is being led by the Spirit. Everything that I got is because what God wanted me to have. So I couldn't at that stage. I was such a young Christian. I couldn't differentiate however that word go, what a blessing really looked like. Because God will have your enemies bless you. You hear me? He said he'll
Yes,
have
sir.
crops for you that you didn't plant and houses for you that you didn't build. You hear me? So, and I didn't notice at the time. So I was like, no, I don't need it. But, you know, I went on, accepted it, and I pulled off and I started a prayer circle that night. But now, to further go along, the real test was the transition out here. You know, I've been putting in work in the joint ever since I first touched down as a juvenile when I got waived to adult court all the way back in 93, 94. So, and this was just a way I was trained to believe that it was acceptable. But more importantly, it's what kept people from being able to see me, right? So if I do something that inflict pain on somebody else, you won't be able to see my pain. And you won't get a chance to even ask me about my pain because you be so focused on what I've done that you don't even want to take the chance to kind of make me upset or make me feel emotional because you see how I handle my emotions. So now coming home, you know, I came home on Valentine's Day, man. That's the best Valentine's gift I ever had in my life, man. God showed me agape love. You hear me? So, you know, when I got here, I went to work release. I had to do a year in work release. So I'm like, man, when I say it was the worst part of my time in the last year of my sins, after doing 21 years in the belly of the beast, I get the work release and I'm thinking it's going to be a cakewalk. Man, it was torture. But I get it now because God had to set the tone for discipline outside. I had discipline in the prison because I stayed 8 years after I gave my life to God. Now, out here is a whole nother beast because now I'm free to roam. I'm free to do more fleshly things that men
Hmm.
like to do that we predicate up on doing once we come home, sleeping with women, hanging out, partying, all that weird stuff. And I played my role in it, you know, and by the grace of God, I got a queen in my life right now, right there. God, man, he said, look, I think you ready, right? So, and you know, it touched my soul sometimes, man. She's sitting over there anyway. But and the transition out here, I'm like, man, I'm a gangster disciple formally. So, and I done been doing wrong out here in these streets. So, God, what can we do? You showed me already that you would do it. I need you to really show me now because these people can walk up to my front door. They can walk up to my car door. These people can catch me anywhere in traffic the same way I used to catch people in traffic. So I had to be mindful of that. And like I said, and it take me back to what you just said earlier, man, about how we be running into these walls and be crazy. But guess what? These was the walls that I put up. The
No
system didn't
doubt.
put up no walls. You hear me? Because God is who He say He is, man. What God
Right.
got for you can't no man stop. So these is walls I put up. So I prevented myself from being seen. I prevented myself from being able to move forward. So as I start tearing down them walls, man, and let people in my life, man, and once we all linked back up out here, man, and we got in the ministry and we started to move. And you know what's so beautiful when you say that about the transition? In the beginning, I was pushing my own ministry so hard and I was doing this with other people. And then I just got a say Shorty Mac on deck. What's up, Cynic? Hey, but look, I start moving, man, and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna put this on the back burner because God is calling me to something different, man. And I start making sure I support everybody else. Guess why? Because it helped me. It helps me stay like this. And it takes some of the pressure off of me. You got a lot of
Mhm.
work you do, bro. You hear me? And I commend you, man. You do a lot of the work that some of us ain't equipped or able to do. Let's just say that. And I think it's a part of I think what makes your transition easier when you play your part. Mutia, what's up, my brother? Love you, man. Yeah, when we put that work in, it make a big difference because everybody play their role, man. And see, that's the thing with us, man. We ain't. I mean, I can't speak for other guys, but from what I've seen and from what I know and from us all doing, we've done 20 years or better together, man. So even if it wasn't all in the same spot, it was in that lifetime. So knowing this, we don't hold no big eyes and little U's over each other. You know, we step in and we do what need to be done. We get on that highway, we go where we need to go, and we make sacrifices, man. That's the biggest key to being able to transition out here. You have to sacrifice. You got to sacrifice them fleshly things, man. Right on, Carl. You know, because that's what it is, man. Because if we don't, bruh, we'll fall off into it, and it distracts us from the true purpose, man. But yeah, that's what I that was my transition, man. It was rough, and it was only rough from here. Back to that thinking again.
Absolutely.
When I changed my perception of what rough really looked like, all I had to do was look back where I came from. That was rough, and it was times where I made it look like a cakewalk. So to be out here and to experience rough with God, man, is a whole different thing, man. And I'm grateful for that because I know for a fact I couldn't do it without it. I was a med patient. You hear me? So I don't take no meds or nothing, bro. So I'm good, man. And I think the transition for everybody is not gonna be the same, but
Right.
it's doable. See, and a lot of guys they don't want to do it, man. They don't want to do the work, man. And I get it. So I love what we doing because we helping them to some of the stuff that could be a roadblock for them, far as they transitioning part. We already out here paving the way. So look, now what's your excuse now? You ain't got no excuse. What you need some
Absolutely.
mental health treatment? Come on, we can go get that for you too. Matter of fact, we'll sit in with you because we might need a session, you know, whatever it
Absolutely.
may be, right? But yeah, man, I think that transitioning phase for me it was tough only from a mental aspect. Because once I got out of my own head and I said, okay, guys, you got this. I already know you got it because I know where you brought me from, you know. And I started to hold on to that and built a firm foundation. I anchored the Christ all the way in. Man, it's been love, man. It's been love. Even on the days when it ain't love, it's still love. It's straight up. Straight up, man.
Always. Always.
That
One
round
thing,
two,
God,
see,
it's
she said round
it's
two from the
it's
weekend.
it's a blessing. It's a blessing that we understand the assignment. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah,
Because I remember, a lot of that time, like I did a lot of my time bitter. You know
man.
what I mean? Like, but I didn't understand the assignment. You know what I mean? Like, I fully understand when the that God has to break us.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand putting you in a position to where the only way you're gonna be able to make it is with something more powerful than you.
Right, right.
Our best thinking landed us in prison.
Ooh,
Our best
man,
thinking. Prison wasn't part of the plan.
I'm
Like we
telling you.
thought we had it all figured out, but like when you find yourself up against some insurmountable odds, against some adversity that your strength can't handle, and you
Man.
realize in order for me to make it, and when I say make it, I don't necessarily mean just to stay alive and make it, although
Man.
that's a mixer in the pot as well. But you
Exactly.
got to remember, man, we went in as kids
Man.
and we coming back out into society, grown men. And it's time to start adulting, and we ain't never adulted.
Man. Come on, man.
So I knew, like, okay, Jamarcus not enough.
Man.
Blue damn show wasn't enough.
Come on
You
now.
know what I mean? Blue done took me on detour after detour.
Man.
And so, man, when I talk about that moment of surrendering, man, and realize that I need something stronger than me and fully surrendered, man, like, and I have countless conversations, you know, like I chop it up with all the Iron Men all the time, you know, Mutia on the line, you know, I'm with Mutia every day. You know what I mean? Like we know
Absolutely.
the things that we go through, you know, we
Excuse
know
me.
the path that we done dedicated our lives to, man. You know, like I
Right.
said at the banquet, you know, like the problems of the world don't operate on a normal schedule.
Mm-mm.
And we committed to that, but we committed to that because we know whose we are and where our source of strength come from.
That's right.
Like
Absolutely.
this is a task that we own, man. And like I love the assignment. It's as
Man,
challenging
who
as
you
it may
telling?
get, as tiring as it
Man.
may get sometimes, as much as it keeps me away from home and I can't be up under my queen. Like I understand the assignment and what my purpose is, man. And like
That's right.
that's the thing for us, you know, like it's easy to take a life,
Man.
but can you save one?
Come on, man.
But
That's
are you
work.
strong enough? Are you courageous enough? Are you bold enough to save one? You know, when the whole rest of the world is telling you that this is trending and you should do this and you should do that, and then you dealing with all this other stuff. You know, we coming back out here into this world, we didn't wreak so much havoc. Like we got some people that mean us ill will, and we done came back out here into a world of open carry.
Come on, man. Terrifying. You hear me?
Like,
Bruh, listen. When you and I meant to touch on that when you said that about the transition, right? I come home, man, people got masks on, they got guns hanging out. I'm spooked. But at the same time, I'm still pressing in and pressing forward. You don't even know who it is when they walk up on you. We've been gone 20 plus years. Some people can't even think. Some people ain't even been living that long. Half the kids that's out here doing all this nonsense is that age. You see what I'm saying? So it's a whole different dynamic, man. From an emotional standpoint, that's why I love the fact, man, that we have, like a mental health check with each other. You know what I mean? And how we sit down like we had breakfast the other day, man. I can't wait to the day when we sit down and all the Iron Men, we all eat breakfast together once a week, man. And just be able just to decompress, man, because it's hard to be vulnerable, man. You know, and a lot of people that's already able to be vulnerable, they don't understand where we're coming from. And I think sometimes we misdirect our emotions to them because they don't understand what being vulnerable look like to us. You know, being vulnerable look like to us coming from that mentality, like we saw, or somebody could take advantage of us, or we've probably already been taken advantage of.
right,
And struggling with a fear of rejection, the last thing you want to do is share something that somebody can use against you to try to keep you from stepping into your purpose or stepping out on faith, So I think, man, like Tyrone said in the chat, man, he said we got a different prescriber now as far as medication going and hit different. And it do, man, because, you know, everything touched me in a different way now than from how it did. I was so numb. I was just telling my nephew earlier on the live, man, that, he was struggling about emotions, man. And I was to the point where I chose to not feel. And once I could put that wall up around my feelings, I didn't just put a wall up, I put it in a pit and left it. That way I don't
mm-hmm,
have to deal with it. And if you find your way in there to make me bring out them emotions, I'm gonna deal with you. I'm not gonna chill with you and hang out. I'm gonna deal with you and I'm gonna move on because I didn't want to accept it. And some things, no matter when you become a man of God or not, that's a part of us, man, that's internal, that's always hidden if until we open up and share about it. And I think, man, it's critical, man, back to that transition phase, not only the transition physically, but we need to learn how to transition emotionally. We need to learn
Hmm.
how to transition financially, physically, spiritually. Everything has to be a whole different transition. We can't think that just because the door opened, it all fall into one category. And I think that's where a lot of the brothers keep the recidivism rate up because they've been misinformed. They get to the point where it's time to come home and they say, okay, we just want you to go get a job and take care of go see your parole officer and everything is fine. Well, what about the trauma? Where do I address this trauma at? Who do
Right.
I address it to? Thank God for these Iron Men. You hear me? I'm choked up thinking about it, bro, because it's real. You hear me? I'm choked up thinking about it because this is who we address it to. And guess what? When we address it with each other, now we got an outlet. When I got an outlet, I go for the 100-yard pass. Then you hear me? I ain't
No
worried
doubt.
about getting hit along the way. I'm gonna take my shot because I know
That's
I got
right.
somewhere I can go and I can feel safe and I can trust the process because I see it. I see it working in my brothers, man. So I'm forever, man. I'm forever humble, man. Straight up, man. Forever humble. I don't think I ain't gonna even say think. I know I can't never go back to that way of living or that way of
Right.
thinking because it's too painful. I don't want to experience that pain no more. I don't even think my body could take it. Straight up. And we got to be mindful of that, man. That's why I don't mind having the deep conversation. I don't mind sharing, man, whatever, the abuse I experienced, either sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, because somebody else went through it too. And somebody going to need somebody. If not, what they going to do? They going to stay in their head. Guess what happened when they stay in their head? They play in their head. When they play in their head, what they do is they build a scenario, a fairy tale, some type of fiction that ain't real. So now they try to project that onto others. Now you become the same perpetrator or you become the same individual that you're running from because of a narrative that you built in your own head that was designed for something other than what God had your purpose for. So, and that's why, man, I don't, man, listen. If a brother feel like he don't want to talk, them the ones I go at first. You hear me?
No
When I
doubt.
see him ducked off and I let my spirit anytime I go into a room like we go to our seminars or whatnot, I tell God, listen, when I go in here, you know who to connect me to, Lord. You know what to do. And have your way. Remove me. I don't want to be in control of nothing. Nothing. I need you to be in control. And I'm gonna press in, man. So yeah, man, I need to get that out real quick, right? Straight up.
Without a doubt. So Misty asked in the chat as we were talking earlier, how did we do that kids to adults growing up in the death bowl? Uh,
Man,
a whole lot of trial and error.
I promise you.
A whole lot of trial and
And
error.
guess what,
Like
Missy? Missy, we still
facts.
learning, because certain situations still come up, man. Uh, every day is a day of deinstitutionalizing for me. I have a childhood inst- institutionalized mind that was forced to come out here and become an adult immediately upon release. No
Hmm.
questions. I don't get the option. I don't have an option to stay where I was when I got incarcerated mentally, emotionally, physically. Whether I grew up through this process or not, when that door opened, all bets off. Let's go. And thank you, Lisa, for that. Tell Swisher we miss him too, man. We love him, man, and we know he's gonna catch up. Swish can't get on. The technology got him right. He sent me a message on there too on the phone. I seen it go across. Swish, we love you, man. But yeah, we have to be mindful what we speak, man. Who is that? Proctor say every time we open our mouth, what we've been through, we save a life without even knowing. You're absolutely correct. And every time we open up our mouth, period, man, we sow seeds, man. Everything is a seed, man. So be careful what you speak over yourself, man, what you speak over others, because even in the midst of gossiping or just down talking people or down talking a situation, you still dropping them seeds. And if the person ain't there who you discussing, guess what? You planting them seeds all around yourself, man. You got to look at it from a biblical perspective like that, man, or from a farmer type perspective, because if you don't, it'll be too hard for you to see because the enemy don't mind blocking you or distracting you from what need to be seen, right? So just know, man, them seeds is real, man. To get out of that childlike way of thinking and be forced into adult life, it doesn't happen overnight. If it does, I don't want it because that means I missed something. So just take me through the steps, and as a people, we need to allow people the same grace that has been given us. You get it? Because a lot of times we'll put people in a position, we'll say, "Oh, he home? He done messed up again already? Man, he don't want to be out here." What? He do want to be out here. It was just something he didn't figure out along the way. He probably tried to run ahead too fast, or he was given the wrong information, man. We have to go back to the root, man. That's how we ended up where we was because
Yep.
somebody misinformed us, man. So it's easy for me to divert right back to that misinformation, to that information, or that type of information. The enemy can only use what has already affected him. He can't do nothing new. He can't create. But people don't talk about these things. They go in these places, man, and they speak this and that, and they tell you they all right, man. Listen, the pastor in trouble too, man. If he ain't, he wouldn't be where he was, man. The pastor in trouble, man. If he don't want to speak it, I'm gonna speak it. That's why I don't take
Right.
on no title, bro. No pastor, no preacher, teacher. I don't need none of that. I'm a man of God, and I'm going through life. And guess what? I got issues just like everybody else, and I'm willing to work through them. Either you are or you ain't. That's what separates us, man. So and my prayer is just as good as your prayer. TD Jake's prayer, my prayer just as good as his. There ain't no one prayer different. The only thing different is my heart, man. The condition of my heart. That's what makes the prayer go forward. My intention. So I just encourage people, man, that if you find yourself in that phase where you coming out from doing a gang of time, man, and you struggling with not having the amount of income you would want, or the type of life you would want with a female, or whatever it is you're dealing with, just know, man, it takes steps, man. A ladder is not a ladder with one rung on it. It's a trap. You hear me? You grab that one if you want to, and it's gonna split. And you're gonna fall, man. You need each step for a reason, bro. I'm telling
Right.
you. Yes, sir. Straight up.
Man, I see Devin in the chat said emotions are fuel. The question is, what do you fuel with it? Or what do you fuel
Mm,
it with?
that's heavy.
Big. So as you was talking, I was thinking about,
Cool
which I,
breeze.
I I have to touch on because it's part of my drive for iron sharpens iron. And so I look at the systematic design of prison
Right.
and what it does in warehousing us. And I don't put that on the table to take away from our actions and the things that we did to place ourselves. But like, let's be real, man. I look at my situation and I'm like, this term that I went to sleep a little kid and had to wake up a grown man.
Yeah,
The thing was, that's everybody's story.
that's right.
That's everybody's story. Like, those type of things aren't coincidence.
Mm-mm.
Just like when I often talk about the 26 and how many of us did 26 years. Like, exactly. It's not coincidence, man.
Mm-mm.
And that's, when I look at the systematic design, and there are very many arms that go to this system that is the system. Um, And that's what drew me, because I'm like, the system is set up to where if you go through this whole detour thinking you can figure this out, you're gonna have a problem.
Man,
You're gonna have a problem. And that's why we call it the cheat code.
that's right.
Because we know what it takes for that transition from kid to adulthood. Because just because you made it to 44 don't mean you grown.
Come on, man.
We came
Deep.
in as kids and a lot of us suffered from arrested development.
Yeah,
And then come back into society, and I've watched far too many guys struggle
man.
mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like, I've watched them struggle, and I'm like, dang, that ain't nothing but the system doing exactly what it was designed to do.
That's it.
So at some point, some of us soldiers got to be the change we want to see.
That's right.
If
Yeah.
we don't step up as men, men of God, and be
Mm-hmm.
that change, who gonna do it?
That's right. That's right, man. And that's powerful, man. What you said about the struggle, man. I had a, how I be, man. I get a picture or a scenario in my head, man. And I think about, you know, when you get out here, it's a lot of brothers that struggling. I hear the conversations day in and day out about not even wanting to be out here no more. Would rather be back inside than have to deal with what they're dealing with right now. And immediately the picture that came to my mind was I'm literally trying to play tug of war with God. And I
Mm,
ain't no way I can win. What I look like
no
holding on to,
way.
I got rope burns on my hand, my knees scarred up because I'm pulling. And all he's doing is just holding. And here I am pulling. I'm dragging myself all around. All he's saying is just surrender, son. Let go. Quit fighting against me. I didn't put this rope here for you to pull it. I put it here because I'm trying to draw a line. See, that's the thing, man. People will try to remove the line in the sand. You hear? He put that rope there to draw a line. I'm just setting a foundation for you here. This is a line. You done grab the rope. Now you want to play tug of war. Let it go. Be still and let him be God, man. When you surrender, man, it changed everything, man. I never, what my key, I used to tell people, man, I ain't gonna never back down from nothing. I ain't never saying, oh man, I quit or I'm done. None of that. And I believe it. We gotta stop telling ourselves these negative narratives, man, because that's what it becomes. Your life becomes that. You speak power of life and death in your tongue, man. It's power to create and
Thanks.
power to destroy. So, you can either set yourself up to win or to walk in victory, or you can set yourself up to fail or walk in defeat. It's up to you, man. And then, and a lot of times too, man, a lot of us have grown to automatically believe what other people say about you, right? So you would take on the narrative of somebody else and miss your calling, man. Miss your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Miss everything in your day, man, because you're too busy trying to live up to who they say you are or who they say you should be or what they say you should do. You know what I mean? So, you know, you got to step outside that box, man, and say, look, man, it's time for me to stand up and say, listen, I don't care if I don't never have nothing again. All I need is God, and we're gonna work it out from there. He not gonna let you fail, man. He can't. If he do, his word is a lie, man. It's a lie, man. He said, I will
Yes, sir.
never leave thee nor forsake thee.
Or forsake
To
thee.
leave thee means to abandon me physically. To forsake me means to abandon me emotionally. So if I know I always got a shepherd that cares about my emotions, why wouldn't I want to be there? Huh?
Right.
It only makes sense to me. I got to go this way, man. So, and I ain't telling people, that you have to be Christ follower, but it worked for me. You hear me? So, and what worked for you, listen, I'm not the judge, man. You sit down where you need to sit down at. But if you're doing something and you see it ain't working in your life, man, it's time to try something different. It's just that simple. I'm not gonna
Just so
keep
simple.
getting on this merry-go-round and letting you spin it fast as you can, and I hold on till I fly off. I'm just gonna get off of it, man. Y'all keep doing that foolishness if y'all want to, because somebody gonna get hurt. it ain't gonna be me, and y'all keep on playing in the playground. I'm gonna go on and walk out of here, and I'm gonna do what I've been called to do, man. And I'm gonna keep trusting the process, man, no matter what it looked like, because it ain't about no finance. It ain't about no being set up in no house on the hill. If God give me that, so be it. Trust and believe. I'm gonna invite all the Iron Men in. We gonna hang out. But I don't care about all that, man. I care about souls, man, because I know what it feel like and what it look like to be alone, man. Straight up, man. When you struggle with rejection and not being around and being alone, and you've isolated yourself in a room full of people, you feel like you're the only one in there. I know what it looked like. So that's who I'm trying to relate to, man. And I want to go sit down with them guys on a regular, like we always do, and just continue to press in, man. And God, you can't worry about trying to fix everybody because you ain't no fix. God said He gonna help you fix you, and you show them what I done and tell them about it, and they gonna come along and do the rest. You hear me? I ain't never seen a shepherd that don't look out for his sheep. He got
No
a
doubt.
rod and he got a staff. One is to lead him back in if he get astray, and the other one is to fend off the enemy when he try to attack. That's it. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna keep it simple. I ain't trying to complicate it. I'm already complicated enough. Straight up. You heard Ronald say after 36 years straight, from 13 to 50, for me, failure is not an option, regardless of the circumstances. I didn't come this far just to come this far, and I love you too, bro. I ain't seen you in a minute, Ariel, but we on that. You already know, man. So, yeah, man, and you got this, man. Don't even worry about it. Worrying ain't an option. Straight up. That's what's up, man.
Absolutely. I also wanted to highlight IW coming home from doing a stretch. A person must take baby steps. No rushing,
Man,
trust in the process, surround yourself with good people, and keep God in your life. Talk that talk.
man, man, that's a
Talk that
recipe.
talk.
That looks like something I want to eat tonight. You hear me?
Talk
Straight up.
that
That's a
talk.
recipe for life, man. Cause man, listen, and we gotta make sure, man, for us in general as men, excuse me, that are, you know, life impacted through different circumstances and a lot of missed shots, man. We have to be mindful who we hang with, man. We have to, man. Because birds of a feather flock together. That's the old saying that's been true from day one, So and you can always tell what a person gonna do or be in their life by who they surround themselves with. You know what I mean? So
Right.
keep that in mind, man. I'm glad whoever IW was said that, man. You got to surround yourself with I can't even say good people because I don't consider myself good. I'm just a person who is striving to be better and do better. So I surround myself with people, man, that's gonna help me make an impact on being who God called me to be and whoever I can help, you know, straight up.
Facts. We hadn't touched on it, but tell us about Soul Seekers Prison Ministry.
Man, Soul Seekers Prison Ministry, man. Do you realize I celebrated 10-year anniversary last year in October, man, when God gave me that revelation, man. I was actually on lockup, man. And I was trying to, think of something that I could come up with, man, to be able to, as far as a title wise and something foundational that I could help draw brothers in, but I know that was catchy and it was right to the point, man. And then, I just kept feeling it, man, because so many people have been ostracized due to their lifestyle, due to their way of thinking, due to the people they hang around, and with God, He ain't no big eyes and little U's, man. He said all souls welcome, man. And he just asked that you come with an open heart and an open mind and let him do what's required. So, and I knew it was something that was to be true because I came up with a mission statement. You must first know the way, then show the way, and then go the way. And it's a three-part system. You know what I mean? A lot of times, and I'm not knocking no churches or no mosques or no temples or none of that, or no type of buildings that's been set in place for people to worship or whatnot. But most times you go into these places, you hear a message, and then you leave and you got to go home by yourself, man. And that's not healthy, man. Because we all need somebody to help guide us down this path. So, if you know the way, you start to show people the way. Don't just tell them about it. Show them the way. Then go the way. You know what I mean? So that's my motto, man, with my
Right.
ministry, man, is just to be able to draw people in, man, and to be able to have, classes where we can show them what need to be done, whether it's with finances, whatever it may be, man. Anything, housing, anything that may help them get over the humps and the hurdles that they have found themselves in front of. So, and when we get there, now we're gonna go with you. We ain't just gonna leave you. It's like getting baptized. You get baptized, then the next week they don't even talk about you in the church. You know what I mean? That I think the pastor should at least ask about them people who you just dipped in this water last week. Check on them, check on your people, man. See what's going on with them because people have a fear of rejection, man, and we've all been programmed to believe that okay, now I've done this, I'm gonna be okay. No, this when it really get real. When you decide to make a decision to surrender, guess what? The gloves come off. Now it's gonna get raw, and some emotions gonna be touched and some things gonna have to be changed in your life, man. And you can just imagine if you've ever had to dig a hole in the yard or something, man, or just to dig, period, how hard that soil is, man, unless it's been conditioned first. So understand the process that God has given your life, man. By the time you come to Him and you decide to make a change, whether it be for ministry, whether it be for motivation, whatever it may be, when you decide to make a difference, you've already been conditioned for it. But there's still a process that has to take place after that condition. Now we got to dig up some stuff. We got to get to the bottom of it because there's some stuff that's been planted down in there, man, that's so deep that you may have not shared and people can't even see it on you. The only way they know it is through your actions if they've been through it. So now you start to get around people that's relatable, people that know how to move out of those situations, people that know how to go find those certain roots that need to be removed. And even if they don't be removed, they may have something that needs to be added to it in order to strengthen it and to make it become something else. That's where the remix come in at. And I think about a movie I seen, man, was The Shack, where they was in the field and the Holy Spirit told her, don't touch that, that's poison. But
Right.
she touched it. And then she took another root and put them together and made an antidote, made a cure for something. So just know the pain and all the trials that we've been through in our lives, there'll be a cure for somebody. It'll be an antidote and it may be a key to unlock somebody from some type of bondage that they placed themselves in. Not that the enemy has done. The enemy doesn't have that kind of control over mankind. He only has influence. See, he'll influence you to put the chains on yourself. So now we have to find a way to help unchain each other, man. So that's what Soul Seekers is about, man. That's my whole mission, man, in life, man. It's just to help unchain the chain, to open the minds of those that have been locked away, and just to help people find their purpose, man. That's it.
Ain't that it? Whew. Boy, this ain't been a time.
Oh yeah, I'm mad it's
That's
over.
man, that's what it do. And we was talking like we knew it was gonna go fast.
It always do.
we
I don't care
we
where we
knew
at.
it
It
was.
always do.
Hey, always, man. So I want to thank you for joining me tonight, man. For all the
Street say,
work
hold
that
on right
you.
quick, bro. Street said,
Uh,
how we gonna not know that's him? IW. My bad, bro. Apologies. Gratitude.
fact,
That's what the
facts.
IW. Ira White. You
Hey,
hear?
that yeah, that's
Yeah,
facts. I'm gonna hit myself
yeah,
upside the head for that one.
yeah. Me too, man.
Hey,
Apologies.
apologies, bro.
Yep. Straight up.
um, but yes, it's been a time, man. Nice kickoff to season two, man. Um, just to give them a taste of what to expect this season, man. And
That's right.
like every conversation is gonna be edifying every week. So I thank y'all for tapping in. I thank y'all for spending this hour with us. Bro, I thank you for who you are, man. I thank you for
Thank you.
and allowing God, um, and I allow you for being willing, man. You know what I mean?
Man,
Like,
praise God. Yes,
and
sir.
I've told you, I've told you countless times, man, that every time I see you every time I see a post that you put up on social media, man. Like it still makes me emotional, man, because I know where you come from, man. I know the
Right.
things that you had to go through to become the man of valor that you are today, man. I
Praise God.
salute
Yeah.
you. I salute you. I salute you, man. I
Yes,
love
sir.
you to life. Um, and again, I appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all for tapping in tonight, man, spending this time with us. For those that don't know, or maybe sleeping under a rock, let them know your social media, man. Let them know where they can catch you at all platforms. Give it
Yeah.
to them.
Man, look, man, y'all can catch me by my government, Darvous Clay on Facebook. TikTok, the prodigal son, Darvous Clay. You can type my name in and it's gonna pop up, man. I just started Instagram again with Soul Seekers Prison Ministry. So tap in there, man. And more importantly, man, just hit us at Iron Sharpens Iron Wise, man. And when you do that, you're gonna see not only me, but you're gonna see all of us. Thank you, Mama. We love you too. Bless you too. Yeah, you're gonna see all of us, man, and you'll get a chance, man, to be able to outsource the information or outsource some true brothers that can help you, further along in your journey, man. So just tap in, man. We out here and we love y'all, and y'all can't do nothing about it. Straight up.
And tapping in again. You can find me at Ty Fields on Facebook. J underscore Fields 19 on TikTok and Instagram. To follow Iron Sharpens Iron, just tap into our website, Iron Sharpens Iron, WAST.org. You can check out our calendar, see what events we got coming up. Different community events we do. You can get a little backstory on the Iron Men, which you'll meet here on this platform every week. A different one will be on, so you'll ultimately get to meet all of us and what drives us and gives us the passion and the work that we do, and to commit our lives to the work that we do. Um, and I thank y'all for joining us tonight, and we will see y'all again next Wednesday, 7 p.m.
That's what's up. Man, I love you too, bro, and I appreciate you. Salute.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
y'all, chat.
All
See
right,
you,
love y'all.
everybody in the chat.
We in the words of Darvous, everybody that tuned in, y'all could.
Nothing. You hear me? Straight up. All right, bro. Love you, man.
All right, have a good evening, y'all. Good night.
Yep.